Thank you, welcome. I wish you all a good morning. This is Mert Frat and I am the Goodwill Ambassador of UNDP. This morning we will be hosting the ceremony for declaring the first advocates of gender equality of UNDP in Turkey. I would like to make a few reminders. Please watch the press release in full screen, and we have simultaneous interpretation available. Turkish option in Zoom. Therefore, you need to choose Portuguese channel in order to listen to English interpretation. You can find the globe icon and you need to choose a Portuguese channel for Turkish interpretation and English for English interpretation. UNDP has been operating in Turkey for 50 years already, and we are fully supporting their goals by the year 2030 to achieve the global goals. And UNDP has started the Decade of Action as of January 1st, 2020, 10 years before 2030. Actually, this is a period when we need all of these efforts and we need to leave the awareness part behind us and we need to take more actions. And the recent period is actually the biggest proof of this. The Decade of Action is recalling us to bring forward solutions to all the problems across the world. Now we will see a short movie. Well, we have seen the 17 global goals in the video, and we actually showed you the goals at the beginning of the meeting. Now we have everyone, and thank you very much for your participation. Well, the gender equality and empowerment of the women is the global priority, and we can say that it's the most important part of UNDP's development duty. UNDP believes and knows that the sustainable human development cannot be fully achieved unless we contribute to the men and the women and boys and girls equally. The human development requires us to improve the welfare of all the humanity across the world. Every project conducted by UNDP should be touching the people's lives, and in order to improve that, we're looking for ways to improve our cooperation with the well-known people. You will see a video soon and you will be finding the national volleyball player Bahar Toksoy Guidetti and her husband Giovanni Guidetti, Turkey women's national volleyball team head coach, and you will see how their roles actually crossed. Let's see the video now.
Merhabalar, ben Bahar Toksoy Guidetti.
Ben Giovanni Guidetti.
Daha çok erkek egemenliğinde olmasının
Hello
sebebi,
everyone, this is
en
Bahar
başından
Toksoy
böyle başlamış
Guidetti,
olması ve yavaş
and
yavaş
this is
gelişiyor
Giovanni
aslında.
Guidetti.
Ben inanıyorum ki
The reason why it is
yavaş
dominated by
yavaş
the men is that it
daha
actually
çok kadın
started
antrenörler
like this at the
görmeye
very
başlayacağız.
beginning,
Dünya Sağlık
and I
Örgütü
do
bir
believe that
haftada orta yoğunlukta 150 dakika,
we will
yüksek
be
yoğunlukta
seeing more
75
women
dakika
coaches.
fiziksel
The World
aktivite
Health
öneriyor.
Organization recommends 150 minutes of medium level physical activity and 75 minutes of high intensity physical activity. Sports actually contributes to empowerment of the women, the young, the individuals, and the community. Yes, Bahar and Giovanni are not only role models within the pitch, but also they have been fighting against the gender equality in the disadvantaged regions with the academy they established for the girls. Now I would like to give the floor to Turkey United Nations Development Program Resident Representative Claudio Tomasi. Hello, Tomasi.
Thank you very much, Mert. Can you hear me properly? Thank you for this wonderful introduction in such a great day. Mert, as you know, is our goodwill ambassador here in Turkey, and we're very proud to have you supporting all our activities here. So, dear Ms. Bahar Toksoy Guidetti, and Mr. Giovanni Guidetti, and distinguished press members, today is really a happy day. And I'm proud to be here, even if only digitally, unfortunately, for a good cause, for a good reason. And this reason is how to raise awareness in Turkey about gender equality. The reason is the appointment of Bahar and Giovanni as gender equality advocates of the UNDP, of the United Nations Development Program. All of you know them for their outstanding and sustainable volleyball and sports career. The head coach of Turkey's national women's volleyball team, Mr. Giovanni Guidetti, with 3 World Clubs Cup Championship, 4 European Champions Leagues, and the Guinness unbeaten run record in his career, is shown by the sports authorities as one of the most successful coaches in women's volleyball. Ms. Bahar Toksoy Guidetti has a high-level achievements in her 16-year professional sports career, such as the European Champions League and the World Clubs Cup Championship and Olympic experience with the national team jersey. Congratulations to both of you. Let me say, however, that talent and success is not the only reason that makes Bahar and Giovanni eligible advocates. Our interest in appointing them as gender equality advocates was actually inspired by their personal story in women's sports, empowering women, and their commitment that they have demonstrated to use their talents to benefit girls across Turkey. UNDP advocates are, as a matter of fact, an outstanding group of personalities who use their talents and their status to focus the world attention and the citizens' attention on important social, economic, and environmental issues. As you all know, as Mert was saying, the Sustainable Development Goals were adopted at the United Nations General Assembly in September 2015, constituting the largest shared agenda in the world until today. And they establish a clear and shared Agenda 2030 and the Gate of Action up to 2030, again, which is only 10 years away from now. And that's what UNDP is focusing at the moment. UNDP has around 17,000 people like me around the world, working day in and day out in 170 countries, supporting the action, supporting countries, supporting people to achieve the SDGs and the Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind. The UNDP, with this advocacy appointment of Bahar and Giovanni, will focus on the promotion of these SDGs, but particularly highlighting the goal number 5, gender equality. Now, why is gender equality so important for development and for people? Because gender equality lies at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which asserts that gender equality is both a fundamental human right, but also a necessary foundation for peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Too many women are still systematically excluded, discriminated, and object of violence in the world today. And COVID-19, unfortunately, has come also to show us how this further exacerbates these inequalities. As UNDP, we see sports as a very important enabler to reach people, to connect them with the world's urgent problems, and encourage them to take actions. Bahar and Giovanni keep showing how Turkish women can be successful on national and international level if they are given equal opportunities. With these appointments and raising awareness, UNDP wants therefore to mobilize everyone and everywhere to take action individually and collectively, locally and globally on gender equality. Let me finish, dear Bahar and dear Giovanni, by saying that I'm very proud to welcome you as gender equality advocates for UNDP Turkey. There is no better testament to UN spirit of solidarity than your effort for working for a better world, for a more equal world. I'm really looking forward to be working with you hand in hand to make women's voice heard in all spheres of society and ensure that an equal world is also a better and more just world. I'm also looking forward to be with you on tomorrow's Sultan project in Eastern Turkey and at the Guidetti Academy, where no girl is left behind. Finally, I also hope that you will be amongst the pioneers of the process where women will participate increasingly more and more in decision-making in sports management as well. Thank you very much and good luck in your work.
So we would like to thank Dr. Tomasi for this great speech. Now, I would like to welcome Bahar and Giovanni, and I will be now giving the floor to them as the gender equality advocates of UNDP in Turkey. Bahar and Giovanni. Hello, Mert. Thank you for your introduction. 2 years ago, I went to Bitlis to train the young girls volleyball. And during the day, they were very enthusiastic, very excited, very happy. And by the time we left, one of them said, "I wish you had never come." And I couldn't know what to say because she said, "I want to be an athlete like you as I got to know you. But leave aside volleyball, we can't even go out on the streets. We could come here barely by getting permit from our parents. And you have excited us. You will now go and you will never come back." And I saw the other girls were also upset. And while I was going around the city that day, I did not actually see any girl out on the street, but I saw so many boys playing football on the streets. And at that moment, I came to understand that the gender inequality was the biggest obstacle in front of these girls. And then I understood that it was not only enough to inspire them, to make them dream, to encourage them. I understood that we had to create an equality of opportunities for these young girls and to change the mindset. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I don't want to hear from her 20 years later, "Mom, you saw this problem and still you didn't do anything." And since then, I woke up with this question in my mind every morning, and I wanted to do something for this cause. And one of my efforts was the academy that we established. Even the most successful women athletes might be subject to gender inequality, and it was not only enough to stay with the sports academy. And I wanted to show the young girls that they could be successful in any field, in addition to being a professional athlete, and think that we were able to touch their lives, seeing that we were able to leave a permanent trace on their lives was actually much more valuable to me than the cups, the medals, and the championships that I won. And by the way, the young girl who said, "You will never come back, you will never come back, and you have just encouraged us," that young girl actually came to Istanbul 6 months later for the first time in her life, and she was entitled to join the summer camp on scholarship. There is a huge injustice across the world on many subjects, but no matter how big the problems are, we should not say, "What can I change on my own?" Small but permanent steps will bring forward very great results. And being assigned as the gender equality advocate by the United Nations made me notice this one more time. And it is a great honor that my efforts are being appreciated. And we did many things and great things under our academy. And hopefully, thanks to this union with the United Nations, we will achieve much better things within a shorter period. And I'm ready to do whatever I can. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bahar. The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mert. First of all, it's really great emotion to be here. Is not, my normal environment because we are talking on something that is really amazing, really important, and really big. So I'm working in volleyball all my life and with women volleyball, and so it's pretty clear for me to understand how potential is a sport to empower the girls. During sport, the girls, they not only show physical strength, but also mental strength, self-confidence, a lot of leadership, so the sport give really a lot of benefit to the girls. But unfortunately, young girls all around the world, they cannot have the equal access to sport. This is the main thing, that we have all to think about, because also researchers say that when you don't do sport before you become 10 years old, then you have only the 10% to make sport when you are older. And this is too less, I think all of us in these days read and listen how is important to keep your body in shape, how is important the sport activity, not only for your body, but especially for your brain. So why the young girls, they don't have the equal access to the sport? This is something pretty that we have to fight very strong on that, And unfortunately, when a young kids open television and maybe start to click all the sport channel, or the media or Instagram and so on, we see too many images of men doing sport. This is something that it is like this. But we have, all of us, try to change a little bit, because it's the message that these girls see that, okay, the sport is not for me, because there are not many sport people. Actually, I have to say that I am particularly lucky, because volleyball and Turkey, I believe, is doing something amazing for sport. So in America, for example, the volleyball is in college have much more value than men volleyball. In Turkey, I believe that the women volleyball has much importance in the media also that men volleyball. So and federation and the same my club are doing something incredible for empowering the women volleyball. And when we talk about payment, I think in Turkey we cannot complain. I think that the average salary of a volleyball player in Turkey is same or even higher than the men player. But unfortunately, we know that this is only one small drop. So Turkey my club, other club, you know, and volleyball is just one small drop, because if you check, for example, the first 100 athletes in the most paid in the world, in this 100 most paid athletes in the world, we have one woman, that is Serena Williams. So 99 against one is not even equality. It's not equality. Of course, other sports are improving. I also collaborating with the 5EB, so the prize money is pretty much the same in volleyball. Also tennis, I believe the main tournaments start to give prize money, but still not the same. On the other hand, we don't see also many women coaches. And it's something, you know, that is had some historical reason probably, you know, because in the past, too many men were doing sport and not too many women. So of course, I believe that now we have more men coaches than women, but it's not correct. Me, for example, in my staff, I always try to have women. You know, I try to have women like in the management. I try to have women in like psychologists. I try to have women around my team, because I didn't find, you know, so far many women that they want to become a coach. They want to be a successful coach. Again, we are lucky that in volleyball, we still have some exceptions. You know, for example, really in these days, it went to the international movie festival, one Chinese movie where the main character is Jenny Lamping, that is the head coach of women volleyball team. So she was an amazing player and she's an amazing coach. And they made the movie about her. So no, this is in China. So this is already a very big step, you know, but we need more women that are coaching volleyball. We have a lot, I believe, but just for junior level, that's still a very important thing. Also, my club really give a lot of job to women coaches, but why not? Why we have only 5 women coaches in WNBA? Why we have only 1 women coaches in World Championship or Olympic women volleyball? Is for sure not enough. On the other hand, especially in disadvantaged parts of the country, the family expectation is another big barrier for the girl. You know, unfortunately, some girls, they just grow in a house where they are pushed to take care about the house, to be kind of second mom, to clean the house while the brother is making sport, or like Bahar was telling, is playing football on the street. You know, this is another thing that I saw with my eyes in my trip, but this is another thing that we really have to fight, all of us, to change, because even especially when they're young, they have to see the same equality. They have to see the same future. They have to be allowed to go outside and play, you know. And this is what I'm trying to do with my daughter every day, and what we like a parent and we like a coaches, we like the people that have the chance to be seen more than others, we have really to push very hard. At the end, you know, I spent all my life in women volleyball, you know, so I'm making this job for more than 20 years. And I start with volleyball, women volleyball, and I'm still making women volleyball. So I owe a lot, you know, to women, but not only for this, but I mean, gender equality is not just a women issue. This is something that is so important, you know. For me, it's very easy to say, you know, also because my job is with women, but gender equality is not a women issue. I love so much one sentence of Mother Teresa, that she said that if each one of us would clean the front door, we will have all a much cleaner world. That means, you know, that each one of us have to try to make something small, but have to try to make one little step. That's the reason why I started Yarinin Sultanerin project, you know, just to give my time and to make one just little step and to bring this message to the girls in this part of Turkey that are not as lucky as at the city where we are living. And it was amazing to see that United Nations appreciate, you know, this personal effort and local effort. And just to finish, you know, because my tendency is to talk too much, so I have to finish. I just want to say that I'm really extremely honored to become an advocate of gender equality. And at the same time, I feel the responsibility. I want to be fully committed to this new job. And I believe that volleyball, sport and volleyball, because it's my sport, can give a very good step in this direction.
Thank you, Guidetti, both of you. And you have actually proven that this is a very important unity. Now we will move on to the stage of Bahar and Giovanni signing the letter of acceptance. Can you please sign the letters and show to us? Thank you very much. Well, thank you. We would like to proceed to a short Q&A part. You have actually spoken very meaningfully, and you have already answered many questions. You have touched us. And now I have 4 questions I want to ask you. First of all, from Hürriyet newspaper, Koray Durkal. It says, Coach, the Science of Tomorrow project was totally your own initiative, and you said you want the kids to like the volleyball. Did you think that it would turn into an international project, and what do you think made it possible to achieve this?
The question is to me.
Yes.
Because yeah, connection was not great. About Yarinin Sultaneri project.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Thank you.
Yarının Sultanları project was totally your own initiative, and you said, I want the kids to love volleyball, and that's how you set on. And did you think that it would turn into an international project? And what do you think made this possible? What detail made it possible to turn into an international project?
I mean, is this Yarinin Sultanari project born with an idea that just, me and Bahar, some other coaches, some other player, we just bring a message. Thanks God, we were supported from a great team, from a great professional team that made this possible. But was really, very, very small idea, just like I spoke before, just one small drop in the ocean. We want to bring there and just show them how is good volleyball and how is important that women, the young women, participate in volleyball, learn sport anyway, so we don't want to create champion. Sometimes people ask me, you make Yarinin Sultanari to find the new star of Turkey. No, I don't do that for create a new star of Turkey. I just do that for giving this message, And then, when create this connection, between us and the girls, like Bahar spoke before, then having one of these girls in Istanbul and meet other girl and keep dreaming and playing volleyball. This is amazing. This is the main goal. Then, I mean, if United Nations saw and appreciate that, of course, is something great. It's something amazing. But it doesn't change. It doesn't change the meaning of what we are doing. What we are doing is still at the very, very level of human connection, and just the fact that United States recognize our effort just give to me and to us more motivation to visit more city. So we are not thinking too big. We are thinking very small, point after point, ball after ball, step after step. And the same we will do with Yarinin Sultanari. So just this United States interest give us a lot more motivation to visit other cities.
Thank you for the answer. The next question is for Bahar from Serkan Akkoyun, TRT Sport. What do you think made your sports academy different from the other schools? And can you please tell us what you did in terms of gender equality? Actually, we could have prepared the best conditions for volleyball, but we did not actually want to suffice with that. And for that reason, we added nature, art, and science workshops to our schedule. And also, we arranged panels in which the young girls met successful women, and also they were trained on gender equality. So we didn't want to limit with sports only. In addition to being good athletes or sports people, we wanted to make them feel that they could be successful in any field they desire, and we wanted to inspire them as much as possible. This is a very meaningful initiative, so congratulations once again. And now back to Giovanni. Gürkan Ak from NTV. To Claudio Tomassi. Just a second, please. What do you think of gender equality in Turkey? What are your positive or negative observations in Turkey? And we know that Turkish national team wants to work with Gio for 4 more years. And what is his consideration on this? This questions to the coach, and the first question is to Claudio.
Yeah, thanks for the question. As I was saying in my introductory speech, gender equality is a worldwide issue. There is no country in the world where gender equality has been reached 100%. Let's think about it. Giovanni was saying before, giving some incredible data about the 100 wealthiest or most paid sports people in the world, and only one is a woman. And actually, this woman is on the end tail of her career. So pretty soon we're going to have 100 out of 100. Okay. But let's look also at the countries that have made the biggest efforts in terms of gender equality, that typically are the North European countries, where we can see the largest amount of participation of women in politics, in businesses, having equal pays. Still, there is no country where this has been achieved 100%. Turkey is no exception. Turkey has to work very hard in this direction, as many other countries. You can take a look at the recently released, the last year, we launched it here in Turkey, the Human Development Report. As Mert was saying, the human perspective is very important, is the key perspective that the UNDP wants to bring into development, which means how economy, society impact on each one of us, okay? And in this Human Development Report, there is a very interesting analysis of inequalities. And gender inequality stays at the heart of so many problems around the globe. And when we correct the human development, let's say, index by gender, many countries, actually, the ranking goes down, which means that more work is needed in order to give women better access, better education, better possibility, and better opportunities, because women are exactly like men in terms of their capacity, or even better in some areas. The point is access to opportunities, social norms, legal norms, economic opportunities, family. And so this, going back to your question, is that in Turkey, like in many other countries, we have to keep striving, we have to keep working together, and there are so many organizations here in Turkey, public and private, that are working in this direction, and we are partnering with, and we will keep partnering with, to raise this issue and to find positive solution, which is also a decision, as I was saying, taken by all heads of states back in 2015 in the Agenda 2030 decision in the General Assembly in New York. Over to you, Mert.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claudio. The question is to coach from Gürkan. The national team wants to work with you for another 4 years. What do you think on this?
Well, I think that today the topic is the UNPD, and nothing is more important than UNPD and gender equality. So also my contract is, I think, we have to talk in another place. But I mean, very shortly, I want to keep working not only in volleyball but also for gender equality in Turkey as much as I can, because I love this country. So can be a good connection to stay together a little longer.
Well, that was the point of the question, I think. He wanted to figure out if the cooperation in Turkey will last for another 4 years. Obviously, Gürkan Bey was also moved by this initiative of yours. And Can Doğan from Maçkolik, he says, USA women football team became a champion. Sorry, volleyball team became champion, but they asked for equal opportunities, but the men put more effort. Their request was actually declined. And do you get hopeless in the face that such a big team actually failed? And what do you think they did wrong? I want to learn your opinion on this, and the question is both to you and to Bahar.
Okay, I can start. And I mean, this is a great example. So if we, for thanks to television, Hollywood, and so on, we are seeing America like the most modern country in this world. And like Claudio was speaking a couple minutes ago, if the more modern country in this world, the country that everybody, is admiring for not for everything, of course, especially nowadays, but the country that everybody is watching, and they still have this problem. That really means something. So, again, I'm so happy to work in Turkey, because in Turkey I can really say to you that even national team of women have better facility and better possibility than national team of men, just because our ranking of the women team is better than the men, and we are really getting more from the federation, from the media, from the volleyball fans. So I think Turkey can give really a very good promotion about the gender equality, showing what's happening in the volleyball world. Karim?
Can we hear your opinion on this, Bahar? Actually, considering the volleyball sports, I can say that we're doing quite fine in terms of men and women's equality, but football is disadvantaged. Still, I think that opening this path is highly important, and I believe that if you have already started to say something on these, you have already taken the first step very successfully and strongly. Taking the first step and doing something small actually shows that the future will be much better. Even if they did not win, still taking an action on this and raising an awareness is highly important, I believe. Banu Yelkovan from Socrates, as mentioned by the coach, gender equality is not a women issue only, and we need role models like Mr. Guidetti. My question is, what is the difference between training men athletes and women athletes, and what are the basic differences of the women athletes from the men athletes? And is there any such difference, do you think?
So, like I told before, I started very, very young coaching, around 23 years old, and I always coach women, you know, so I'm not the right person to answer this question, because there are some other coaches that they really changing continuously between men and women. Me, I stuck in the women for more than 20 years, but I can tell you, because especially in nowadays, you know, we make a lot of Zoom meeting because everybody was at home. So we made one meeting a week with between men and with a group of men and women coaches, and we were talking absolutely the same thing. You know, we were facing the same problem. We were talking of the same language. You know, you said, yeah, but in women volleyball, yeah, men volleyball, same. You know, so I believe really is not too much difficult. You know, I just believe that women they can be even much more professional than the men. This is something that I listen from my colleague, you know. So when my colleague has to handle a young man, you know, 19, 20, 18, is much more difficult than for me to keep discipline, you know, in these athletes. You know, we know what I'm talking about. So I think that even is much easier sometimes to coach women, because their dedication and their professionality is really very high.
Well, Giovanni Peralta from Volley News. Maternity is often perceived as a problem for women in sports and in general for women's work. How can we work, from your point of view, to overcome this idea? Actually, I can say, based on my own career, maternity is never an obstacle in front of a woman's career. 2 years after giving birth, I started training, and shortly after, I went back to my position in Fenerbahce volleyball team. The biggest motivation that I have is to know that my daughter sees me on the pitch while winning or losing a match. And I think the first thing the women should bear in mind is how to set an example, a role model for your own children. And this should be something, and maybe they could be based on the idea that they can change something with this idea. It was a great answer. Thank you very much, Bahar. Yazgülü Aldoğan from Cumhuriyet newspaper. Dear Giovanni, as you said, a women trainer should have been supporting you. Maybe Bahar could consider becoming a coach from now on. And what kind of projects do you think you will embark on from now on?
So after we can ask Bahar what you think about coaching with me and seeing me 24 hours. And anyway, I think that I'm trying to pushing, you know. So I already asked to many players that they stopped to volleyball to become part of my staff and to start to coaching, you know. Until now, I was not so successful, you know, because I mean, you know that like women and men, you know, so the sport life is really heavy. So also a lot of men, after they finish to play, they say, okay, enough. I don't want to see one ball of my life. But I really push as much as I can, you know, to have players, women ex-players in my staff. Bahar still young and good, so she still have to think to play, not to coach right now. But I will do for sure. I will do, and I mean also, like I tell you, in the staff, I have already previous very good players. They're not coaches, but they are managers, you know. But they all women that they were very successful when they were playing, and they are part in my staff, in national team, and in Buckingham. So I really believe so much in this power. and as much as I can, I will push hard to have more.
And Bahar, what is your opinion on this? Actually, if I was asked about coaching a few years ago, I would say definitely no, because it takes 24 hours of a day. And once you are disconnected from sports, it is always challenging to find yourself involved in the sports again. But seeing the kids learning something from me and seeing the light on their eyes, I thought that it would be highly important to teach them a skill to overcome the obstacles in the life. Maybe after my professional career as a volleyball player, I could consider a career in this. Well, there are too many questions. We don't have time for the remaining questions. If you allow me, I will ask one last question and we will forward the other questions to you. Şafak Güven from Yeni Birlik newspaper. My question is to Giovanni and Bahar. The Turkish sports audience is impatient and cruel about the grassroots, and especially in the football branch, this is more emphasized. The people think that those from the grassroots cannot be successful, and those who are already good can only be good. Therefore, the grassroots is good at the very beginning. And what do you think could be done in order to change this mindset, and what could be, what training could be given to the fans as well? Did you hear the question, Giovanni?
Yes, just one.
Addressed to you both.
The main word I didn't understand in the translation.
Well, he means the lower section. The new players coming from the children players. So without making any distinction between men and women, the young players are not well tolerated. I mean, the people are mostly impatient about the new generation players, and therefore they are not encouraged. And what could be done in order to overcome this, both in sports and for the people within the branch?
Yeah, I think
how can we raise awareness of the fans, the supporters?
I think that is a lot about the coaches, you know, because when a coach put in the floor a young player, then he has to accept that he can make more mistakes, that he has to accept that is not ready yet, and he have to make all the people and the team and the fans accepting this, you know. If not, it's very easy to criticize the young and pointing the young like the reason of losing. So I really believe that it's so much in our hand, like a coaches, to change this habit and to really give the chance to the young player to become good. I mean, nobody born a Picasso, nobody born a Ronaldo, nobody born a Federer. You know, they became a Picasso, they became a Ronaldo, they became a Federer because somebody gave them the courage, somebody gave them the trust, and somebody gave them a lot of confidence. So I think we have to really work a lot on that. We are really to make everybody understand that the talent is, you know, the 10% of an athlete, but the 90% is the dedication, the hard work, the mentality, the self-confidence. So everything then can be trained and can improve, but of course you need time for that.
Would you like to respond to this question, Bahar? Actually, the national team is getting younger now. So they are continuing their way with young players now. And I hear from others, why do you not give space to the experienced players more? But as put by Giovanni, when you give more opportunity to the young players and when you ignore their errors, their mistakes more, you see that they are developing, they're improving very quickly. And we should have more women coaches in the young teams as well, because I believe they could empathize with the problems the young girls face during their teenager years. And by having more women coaches for the young teams, because they feel better when they work with a coach who understands them, so it could be possible to overcome such problems better. I think this could be improved in more ways, and I believe that we will see more women coaches in the future and more young players will be given more opportunities, and we will achieve a success better. Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Claudio for his final words to wrap up. If there is anything he wants to say. Do you want to say anything, Claudio?
Thank you, Mert. I think that you, Giovanni, and Bahar said it all. Let me just thank all the journalists for the interesting questions as well. But most importantly, I believe in action. And Giovanni and Bahar have already shown a great deal of action in terms of gender equality. And I'm sure that in the upcoming months and years, we will be able to work together for this very important cause. That again, and I would like maybe to leave you with this final message, as Giovanni also said, gender equality is not exclusively about women. It's also about men. And if we don't, we fail to understand that, then we will just have the wrong view on the issue and there will not be a proper solution. So we really have to work together, men and women, to improve this situation. It's very much needed, and the whole development of the world, it sounds like big words, but the whole development of the world depends on this. 50% of the population is constantly and systematically discriminated and doesn't have equal opportunity. Just let's think along these lines, and I'm sure that we're gonna be able to make a change and to make a difference. Thank you very much again, and looking forward to work with you guys.
Thank you, Claudio, for your nice words, and I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone who put their efforts in making this broadcast available. And we have our certificates with us. They have just been signed. Is it possible to take a family photo with the certificates all together? Do not cover your faces with the certificate, please. And one photo without the certificate. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everything you have done. Thank you for everything you have done and everything you will do on behalf of Turkey, on behalf of the world, and on behalf of everyone fighting against the inequalities. Lucky to have you, and lucky. Thank you, Claudio, for bringing us together.
Merhabalar, ben Bahar Toksoy Guidetti.
Ben Giovanni Guidetti.
Daha çok erkek egemenliğinde olmasının sebebi hani en başından böyle başlamış olması ve yavaş yavaş değişiyor aslında. Ben inanıyorum ki yavaş yavaş biz daha çok kadın antrenörler görmeye başlayacağız.
Dünya Sağlık Örgütü bir haftada orta yoğunlukta 150 dakika, yüksek yoğunlukta 75 dakika fiziksel aktivite öneriyor.
Spor, kadınların, gençlerin, bireylerin ve toplulukların güçlenmesine katkı sağlar.